Hi guys, welcome to my guys review of Ride Along 2. So this is Tim Story's second film in the Ride Out series. Obviously, the first one came out in 2014. The same time he also had Think Like a Man 2. He's obviously directed Think Like a Man 1, Ride Along, Barbershop. He's done the Fantastic Four series as well, the old ones, which most people now think are classics because of how bad the last one was. But this is another Tim Story film, similar to the first Ride Along. We pretty much the story continues from the first one. So Black Hammer is now engaged and about to get married to Ice Cube's sister from the first film, and kind of like the story begins with the Black Hammer, aka Ice, Kevin Hart's character, leaving the police academy and actually becoming a police officer and wanting to prove himself to become a detective and kind of prove himself to the police force. And that's kind of where the story starts. It's similar to the first one where he wants to prove himself to Ice Cube that he's good enough to date and be with his sister, and that he's good enough to join the police academy, and that he wants to become a detective. So it has a similar sort of theme to it as the first one. Again, a lot of the similarities from the first, but it is literally it's similar to the first in sense that it's a comedy film. So we don't expect a enriched, clever story. We expect, sorry, a very good, funny film. Now there are a lot of funny bits in the trailer, and the film actually has a lot more funny bits in it which weren't on the trailer, which is always a good thing to see. Similar to the first one, where I saw the trailer, I was happy to see Ice Cube and Kevin Hart in a film, knowing how good the two are, and I was just looking forward to the film. The trailer came out, it was a bit underwhelming, but the actual film was really funny, really good, really enjoyed it. So you still got Ice Cube's character, the straight Ice Cube, cool as ice character that he plays, and you got Kevin Hart, the comedian, the kind of the guy who's always trying to overcompensate for things because he doesn't quite feel that he fits in, or he has to overcompensate because people don't respect his authority in the film. And that's kind of where your comedy kind of bits will come into it. So the film starts off in Miami where there's a big drug case going on. I'll skip a little bit forward and we actually get to the bit where we see Ice Cube and his current partner, played by the funny and great Tyrese Gibson. He's in the film, and obviously Kevin Hart at this point is just in the background. He's just listening in to see what happens, and the two of them are kind of trying to do a drug bust. And for some reason, as always, Kevin Hart wants to get involved, and he does Black Hammer. He wants to get involved and he wants to do something. So what does he do? He comes along and he joins because he saw something on there, and he tries to radio them and can't get hold of them. So he just thinks, I'm going to turn up and I'm going to do this. So he turns up in a car trying to be a bit inconspicuous, but instead just kind of being Kevin Hart in the film. Comes up with a car with hydraulics and everything, and in doing so, also gives away his identity because he chucks his badge on the floor. And then what happens is there's a skirmish. Things have got out of hand, and they have to try and get the guys, while also the same time Tyrese Gibson's character gets shot, for which Black Hammer, Kevin Hart's character, is blamed for all of this, because if it wasn't for him, of course they would have just done the deal, things would have happened smoothly, but Kevin Hart got involved, as Kevin Hart does in the films, and a bit of um, comedic relief happens, and of course it's all part of the film. So there, he's kind of like, now Ice Cube is not too pleased. Obviously Tyrese Gibson's been shot and he's got a bit of leave of absence. So the sergeant tells him, you need to go to Miami, you need to go do this. And that's kind of where the Miami scene is set. What happens is, obviously, Kevin Hart's still trying to get people to respect his authority. His wife, fiance, she's obviously getting the wedding planning stuff doing, and he has a fight with the wedding planner, and no one's respecting him, and he's telling his wife, look, I really need to prove myself, I need to be that detective, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need Ice Cube to take me with him, I need to just kind of make amends for everything, similar to the first one. So his sister again asks Ice Cube, please take him along. Reluctantly Ice does, but by doing so he's almost kind of got his own ulterior motive, because he wants to show up Kevin Hart, so therefore, you know, they can get rid of him, but at the same time prove that he's not good enough for his sister still. And so, you know, he takes him on, and then the story moves on to Miami, where we're going to see the drug deal and stuff. And again, it's a similar sort of thing as Ride Along 1, where reluctantly Ice Cube takes him on that journey, gets him in the car, gives him all the bad cases to try and put him off. One, joining the police academy. Two, from dating his sister, proving he's not good enough for her. And similar sort of things. Kevin Hart always trying to overcompensate for things in the film, but he's really, really funny. And Ice Cube plays this great character of being the stone cold Ice Cube man in the film. And there's also, I think it's Jeong, the guy in Community, Hangover. He's in it, and he's funny as always. He's always good for a bit of comic relief as well. And the film's moved over to Miami this time around. Obviously, the first film came out 2014, was a big surprise hit, and so, you know, got green-lighted for a sequel. Took a couple of years, and the sequel is out now. Hopefully, if the movie does well, there'll be the third one. But by this time, you know, Hammer's married, kids and everything, and he still needs to prove to his brother-in-law that he's good enough to take care of his nephews and nieces and all the rest of it. And as with all of them so far, the stories are very similar. It's all about Ice Cube not thinking Kevin Hart's good enough, and of all the things that Kevin Hart gets up to, his causes a lot of issues more than resolving. And that's kind of where the conflict happens. But the two characters have such great chemistry on screen. It looks amazing. It's really, really funny again. It's not the first time watching the very first one, it's really, really good because you're not expecting these things. You don't know what's going to happen. As you're watching the second one, you are kind of more like, I know what's going to happen. He's going to have to do this. Black Hammer's going to prove himself. At the end, it'll all be kind of rosy again. But it's all that getting there. It's the journey. As the film suggests, it's a ride along. We're in for a journey. Again, another funny film in the franchise. This would be the second one, obviously. And yeah, Tim Story has kind of a good... He does films to a certain standard, and we kind of expect them to go a certain way. And they are funny, but they are quite similar. And if you're going in thinking, oh, I want to see a comedy, but I want to see one with a good kind of story, you want to see a bit more to it, this isn't that kind of film. This is very similar to the first, but it's still funny. You still have Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart. You've got Ice Cube being Ice Cube, cool as ice. You've got Tyrese Gibson for a little while. You've got a lot going on again, and it's good to see the characters again from the first film. If you enjoyed the first one, of course, you'll still enjoy the second. And so Tim Story again, he's literally just... He's good at directing kind of comedy films, I think. He was good in The Barbershop, first one. That was good. Think Like a Man, the first one, was really funny again. So this is what he does. He's good at doing this kind of comedy films. In terms of ratings and stuff, there are a lot of good comedy films that came out just before Christmas. We had Daddy's Home, we had Sisters, now we got this one. So these are all quite quick fire comedy films, all good ones, good high quality films. So you're kind of like spoiled for choice, but this is still a good film, and the two lead actors are very good, and you see that the roles suit the two of them, because you know Kevin Hart acts a certain way and he is a certain way, his shows and everything, his other films. But you almost want Kevin Hart to do something slightly different now, because we've seen him doing this role in Think Like a Man 1, Think Like a Man 2, The Wedding Ringer, that other film, One Night Stand, I think it was. I can't remember. It was the one that came out straight after this in 2014 as well. He's obviously got the new film with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson coming out. Again, seems very similar. So he's almost been typecast, and you know that he's got more to him than just being that comedic relief, and also being comedic because of his height, because of the situation he's got himself into, because of those things. But he's still funny. There are a lot of laugh out loud moments. Some of the trailer shows about 60% of the good laughs, I would say, and you can still go into the cinema and still watch the rest of them. Cinema was still laughing along. It was really good. People were enjoying the film, so that's what you want to see. Overall, another good film. I didn't love it as much as the first one, because The first one was kind of a bit more new. I didn't know what to expect yet. But the chemistry between the two is still there. Great to see that conflict again. But again, because it's quite similar to the first one in the story and every element of it, but it's still funny. It's not very original anymore because we've already seen that all before. It would have been good if it changed the whole kind of concept a bit more, but no, it's still a good film, worth a watch. Still recommend it. Not as good as the first. If the first one was absolutely, I found it really, really funny. Really, really liked the first one. So this one, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Still worth a watch. Good comedy film. We've been a bit spoiled recently. We've had some good films come out, and this is another one of them. Just over pre-Christmas, we had some really good funny. So this is a good start to the year. We've got a good comedy film out very early on. Obviously, Ice Cube's in it. Kevin Hart, Tyrese is in it. I think Olivia, she's going to be in the X-Men film. She's in it. Got the guy from Community. Got a good star cast. Good, solid crew again working behind it. And I guess the writers just thought, let's do a similar sort of thing, but let's go on a vacation to Miami. And that's what they've done. Yeah, hit me up with your likes, your comments. Tell me if you liked it, loved it, hate it. Tell me what you thought of the film. Again, you know, it's Kevin Hart. He's, you know, if you love Kevin Hart, you love this film. If you love the first one, I think you will be slightly disappointed, but you won't be totally disappointed with this one. Still a good film. Not as good as the first one because kind of the elements of surprise and the rest of it's all gone now. Still another good comedy that we've got this year, start of the year. So we're really lucky. Tell me what you think. Hit the big S button to subscribe for more movies, reviews, things. There are some other bits in the film which I don't want to give away. So tell me what you think. If you liked it, disliked it, anything. My guy.